So after 20 years of service in the military, yesterday I got pulled into an officer's office and counseled for posts that I have on my social media. During the counseling, they told me I'm under investigation as a threat to national security. When I asked for proof, like what the posts were yesterday, they refused to give it to me. They made me come back today to further go over stuff. They gave me the proof, and the proof they gave me are anti-Israel posts. Now, when I joined the military, I took an allegiance to support the United States of America. I did not ever take an allegiance to support Israel. But yet, I am deemed a threat to national security because I do not support Israel and their genocide against the Palestinian people. Yes, you heard that right. I am deemed a threat to national security because I don't support Israel's genocide against the Palestinian people. Since when does not supporting a foreign nation get a U.S. soldier investigated for being a threat to national security? Ow.
No one wants to fight for Israel!
His hand! Oh! His hand!
Sir. Let go of your hand. Let go of the door. Let go of the door.
The senator broke his hand. A sitting U.S. senator just broke the hand of a Marine.
Sir.
Control your Senate.
Arm stuck in the door. Okay, sir.
A U.S. senator just broke the hand of a Marine.
Hand stuck.
A U.S. senator just broke the hand of a Marine. You're a coward. Punk. What did you say? Senator?
Thank you.
That's why you got kicked out.
Everybody sit down, please. Sit down, please. Everybody sit down, please. Everybody sit down, please.
I'm getting out of here.
That's fine. Everybody sit down, please. Is your hand okay? Okay.
No, it's not.
This is disgusting.
Shalom. First and foremost, giving all praise, glory, and honor be to Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, Bahasham, Rachahakwadash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone, better known as GMS who rule well. Peace and salutations unto the hopeful elect, the tabernacle of David, beginning with the 144,000 and the rest of the men, women, and children out of the 12 tribes, whom Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai will ultimately have mercy upon in these last days. This is your brother Matizatbath from the branch of the Great Millstone here in Melbourne, Australia. All right. And what you saw in the intro of the lesson was two situations dealing with two soldiers. All right. One who pretty much woke up to the fact of understanding what's really going on with the state of Israel. OK, and how they pretty much control America by, forcing America into their shenanigans of proxy wars and whatnot. And then the second video that you would have seen was how another soldier was pretty much penalized and kicked out due to him asking a question as to why. OK, or not so much why, but he wanted some intel as to what was really going on. OK. And when you start to question, stuff that they deem is not important, OK, for you to know, or if you start to creep up, OK, the wrong side of the field, then things are going to start to happen. OK. And so what we have here, OK, is the idea that the military in Babylon and Great America, OK, is actually being weakened, all right, simply by refusing to fight. And this, fits into a broader spectrum dealing with prophecy going into the fall of Babylon the Great America. Okay. The scriptures speaking about, confusion, okay, and weakening of its warriors, okay, going into his military soldiers. All right. The scriptures also often describes the mighty men losing courage, all right, also refusing to battle and turning against the system that they served. And we're seeing that, all right. And so, I have a backdrop here in the background to illustrate that, this is really it. This is happening in real time. All right. And, Abaratazah, this lesson to be edifying and straight to the point as always. And I got a few precepts I just want to bring out for edification purposes. And the first one we're going to start off with is going to come over here. And I want to go to Jeremiah chapter 51 and verse 30. Okay. Which says, the mighty men of Babylon have forborne to fight, and they have remained in their holds, and their might hath failed. They become as women. They have burned her dwelling places. Her bars are broken. Now, this is a direct prophecy against Babylon in the last days. And we here at Great Millstone, beginning with our beloved apostles, bishops, and elders on down, okay, we, teach that this is referring to America, right? Now, the mighty men in this context, where it says they have forborne to fight, essentially is going into soldiers losing the will to engage in battle. And we saw that with one particular clip dealing with the, the soldier that was being escorted out of the building. All right. You have to understand what's really going on. And when it says remained in their holes, all right, simply that can go into, them staying at their bases, positions instead of advancing, because let's not forget, this is also going to lead into 2nd Esdras, the 15th chapter, where it talks about the sedition of men, okay, not regarding their kings or princes. All right. And don't forget, a civil war is still brewing within America. All right. And where it says that there might have failed. All right. This completely shows the collapse within, moral and courage, because remember, America, as it says in Daniel, and I've been bringing this out all the time, the 7th chapter, his look was more stout than his fellows. OK, America is predicated on pride. OK, arrogance. OK, remember, it even tells us in Isaiah, the 47th chapter, that she says, she shall now sit as a widow. She shall not know the loss of children. OK, and that's the reason why he was shouting, saying, we shouldn't be getting involved in Israel's nonsense. All right. And he's absolutely correct. But see, they listen, this is all centered around the will of Yahweh B'Shem Yahushai. This has to happen. OK, now, why does this fit this topic? Because if soldiers begin refusing wars or questioning orders, pretty much it reflects the prophetic weakening of America's military structure. And that's what we're seeing right before our very eyes. You see, this is exactly what's going on right now. Another precept, Jeremiah chapter 50, right around verse 36 and 37. It says, a sword is upon the liars, and they shall dart. A sword is upon her mighty men, and they shall be dismayed. Right? It says, verse 37, a sword is upon their horses and upon their chariots and upon all the mingled people that are in the midst of her. And they shall become as women. A sword is upon her treasures, and they shall be robbed. Right? So mighty men, okay, when it says shall be dismayed, pretty much that's going into fear, right? Confusion, lack of confidence. Okay. When it talks about they should become as women, all right, really, when you go into that sort of phrase, that's an idiom. It's an ancient idiom to mean losing courage in a battle. All right. And then, it also mentions about, military equipment, which goes into the horses and chariots, and pretty much is just overall showing their military collapse. All right. And this fits America's military strength, pretty much failing psychologically, because once your soldiers, once they tap out in terms of they just giving up and they don't even see the true reasoning as to why they are entering into a foreign entity's battle, because people don't understand that, Israel controls America. They really don't understand that. Right. Let's get another example in Isaiah, the 13th chapter, 15 through 17. It says, everyone that is found shall be thrust through, and everyone that is joined unto them shall fall by the sword. Their children also shall be dashed to pieces before their eyes. Their houses shall be spoiled and their wives ravished. Okay. And this is coming. All right. It says, behold, I will stir up the Medes against them, which shall not regard silver. And as for gold, they shall not delight in it. All right. So, going back to verse 15, again, in this chapter, this is tied directly to Babylon and Great America in the last days. And it also shows that, those who are allied with America and their system and military will fall when judgment comes. You see that. And this is the reason, why, like, you had Prime Minister Starmer over there in the UK now 3 to 4 days ago. He pretty much, when Trump asked to use the military bases, what happened? He was like, nah, after that shit that happened in Iraq and the way that America went about things, we're very hesitant to even allow for these motherfuckers to even come up over here and try to, utilize our resources and whatnot, But then he ended up changing the tune, because what happened was, Amalek, okay, what did he do? He tried to cause a false flag. And what they did was they sent drones to attack, right around the military bases. And what ended up happening was when they ended up hitting up Saudi Arabia, right? Saudi Arabia caught 2 Mossad agents that went back to the state of Israel. So instead of Saudi Arabia coming out with the truth and saying, look, okay, yeah, y'all motherfuckers fucked up. No, what they did was they turned a blind eye and said, well, we attempted to shoot down the drone, and due to the debris and everything, that's what also helped to cause the destruction or some shit like that. Right. So that led to President Trump. As of yesterday, he put out a statement asking for help from his fellow allies. Right. But the reason why they're hesitant is because now the information is coming out that, hey, y'all causing psyops and false flags to try to help enter us into this war. And that ties into what? Let's get Jeremiah 49 and 20. Jeremiah chapter 49 and verse 20, it says, therefore hear the counsel of Yahweh that he have taken against Edom and his purposes, that he had purpose against the inhabitants of Teman. Surely the least of the flock shall draw them out. And that's talking about the Amalekites. They're the least of the flock. OK. And they're the ones that's drawing everybody, including Babylon, the Great America, into this final war, World War III. It says, surely he shall make their inhabitations desolate with them. So America is going to be destroyed right along with Israel. Now do you get why the soldier that was being escorted out of the building, why he was saying the things that he's saying? You see? And again, this all ties into prophecy. All right. And, soldiers fighting for Babylon and Great America, okay, they're going to be destroyed by what? By the invading armies. Okay, that's why going back to Isaiah 13 and 17, the Medes in this context is speaking about Russia. Okay. And I did a video the other day. Russia has now entered the chat. because they have to be a guard unto Persia, which is modern day Iran. Right? So this creates a reason, when you understand the full scope of it, why soldiers may question fighting for Babylon, because what? Prophecy says those fighting for it will lose. Some of these that like these soldiers, they not dumb. They not stupid. But guess what, Esau? Your kingdom is finished. There's nothing you can do about it. It's already written. This has to happen. Right? And this is going to lead to, let's go to Isaiah 19. Okay, and 2. It says, and I will set the Egyptians against the Egyptians, and they shall fight everyone against his brother, and everyone against his neighbor, city against city, kingdom against kingdom. Right? So keeping in mind, this is speaking about America, because America is spiritually known as Egypt, pursuant to Revelation, the 11th chapter. And the Most High, Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushai, causes internal division within a nation. That's why you're starting to see this, as I mentioned earlier, a civil war is brewing within the midst of America. Okay, the military men are now turning against their government. All right, and what does that further include? Well, civil strife, government conflict, right? Military division. Okay, we can call it that, because that's really what it is. Right. So, again, soldiers refusing orders. OK, like that other soldier we saw where he says that he was pretty much stood down because he asked for information as to what was really going on. Right. So, refusing orders. OK, pretty much opposing their government. OK, overall reflects what? Eternal division. OK, and guess what? This is all orchestrated by Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushai. That's the beauty of it. Right. Let's go tie this into Ezekiel 38. OK, and 21, it says, and I will call for a sword against him throughout all my mountains, saith Yahweh, every man's sword shall be against his brother. So in the final conflicts, the Most High causes confusion among armies. That's why it tells you back in Isaiah 13, he mustereth the host of the battle. The Most High is always in control. You see what I'm saying? So, and then, forces, they're going to turn on one another instead of maintaining unity. You see? So this fits perfectly because, military structures, right? They pretty much begin fracturing internally, let's just say, right? And that also that includes soldiers resisting leadership or war agendas. And this is the start of it based off those 2 videos we just saw. This is the start of it. Okay. I had a couple more. Let's get Zechariah 14 and 13. It says, and it shall come to pass in that day that a great tumult from Yahweh shall be among them, and they shall lay hold everyone on the hand of his neighbor, and his hand shall rise up against the hand of his neighbor. Okay. Once again, going into the chaos among forces during Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushai's judgment. Okay. Allies, comrades. All right. Turning against one another. Okay. Because, again, when soldiers began rebelling or opposing the system, guess what? It reflects the confusion sent by Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushai in the last days. You see what I'm saying? So let me get one more and then we'll close out. I didn't want this to be too long. All right. Isaiah 3, verses 1 through 5. It says, for behold, Yahweh of hosts doth take away from Jerusalem and from Judah the stay and the staff, the whole stay of bread and the whole stay of water, the mighty men and the men of war, the judge and the prophet and the prudent and the ancient, the captain of 50 and the honorable men and the counselor and the cunning artificer and the eloquent orator. And I will give children to be their princes, and babes shall rule over them. And the people shall be oppressed, every one by another, and every one by his neighbor. The child shall behave himself proudly against the ancient and the base against the honorable. Now, this happened obviously to our nation, but remember, we're comparing spiritual things with spiritualness, right? So this is also going to happen to Esau, Edom's kingdom, and it's currently happening right now. Okay, remember, like it says in Jeremiah 49 and 7, concerning Edom, thus saith Yahweh of hosts, is wisdom no more in Teman? Is counsel perished from the prudent? Is their wisdom vanished? Because they not going to see the attack coming. It even tells you in this same book that the Heavenly Father, he's going to lay a snare for Edom. Right? So when it says in verse 2, Isaiah 3, the mighty man, the man of war, the judge, and the prophet, and the prudent, and the ancient, this can also tie in because remember, Isaiah 47 talks about his astrologers, stargazers, prognosticators, all of that nonsense. Right? The Most High is literally stripping away the understanding, okay, of Esau, Edom right from under his feet. Gross darkness is growing over his kingdom. So Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushua removes competent leadership and warriors from a nation. We're seeing it right before our very eyes. All right. And the result is weak. OK, unstable authority and disorder. OK, if a kingdom be divided amongst itself, how shall it stand? Right. So this prophecy explains why the military and the leadership structure of Babylon becomes unstable. OK, remember, we're comparing spiritual things with spiritualness, right? We have to understand these things, you know, within the last days. So, you know, that's pretty much it. Akim, I just wanted to give, you know, a quick update on what it's actually looking like for Babylon the Great. All right. And great confusion is brewing, man. OK. And people are starting to speak up and come against this administration. So, you know, let's continue to see, you know, what goes on, continue to pray and continue to stand upon your posts and watch. So with that, all praise, glory, and honor be to Yahweh, Ba'Shem Yahushai, Bahasham, Rachahakwadash. Double honors once again to the beloved apostles and elders of Great Millstone, better known as GMS, who rule well. Peace and salutations unto the hopeful elect, the tabernacle of David. Shalom.